Want to crochet something adorable in just a short amount of time, even if you're a total beginner? Hi, I'm Renee from Martha and Me. Today I'm going to show you how to make this sweet little dragonfly keychain that also works perfectly as a purse charm or backpack charm. And the best part, you only need 2 stitches to make this, the chain stitch and single crochet. And I'm going to teach you both of those right here. So if you've been wanting to learn to crochet but felt overwhelmed by complicated patterns, this is a wonderful place to start. All right, let's make something cute together. I've gathered 4 wooden beads in graduated sizes with a hole in each one of these. I need about 7 to 8 yards of the yarn, and I've just put some scrap yarn together for this one. You're going to need a small keychain hook. This is a lobster claw keychain hook. There are other kinds, no problem. You're going to need a crochet hook, of course, and you're going to need a needle with a large eye. The only caveat to this is you want to make sure that needle will go through each one of these beads. So test that before you think you're done. Then we're going to need scissors, of course. So let's get started. So we're going to start with a slip knot. And to make a slip knot, we go around 2 fingers and pinch off that circle. Drop your yarn behind and come along, get your hook and scoop up that and pull it tight. And I have a slip knot. Now we're going to chain this. Let me put this in a more convenient spot. We're going to make chains. I'm going to, if you look at our dragonfly, it has 4 wings, but we make him in like this. We make it roll like this. I'm going to make one of these that's about 9 inches long, and I'm going to make one of these that's about 7 inches long. And then we will show you how to fold them and attach into this dragonfly keychain. So we've got our slip knot. We gather up our yarn, hold our hook, and we're going to make, for the small wings, the top wings, we're going to chain 24 chains. And to do that, I have my slip knot on my hook, and I move the tip of my hook down toward the inside of my palm of my hand. See, I'm poking the palm of my hand there. And you go down, and then you push it back away from yourself and up. And that leaves a bit of the yarn on top. And that's called yarn over. You're going to see that time and time again in crochet. So you do yarn over, and then you pull the hook toward the loop on your hook and through it. And that's your first chain. Second chain, you're going to go down to your palm, push away, up, and you'll have the yarn over, and then you'll drag the tip of your hook through the loop on the hook. And we're just going to keep on going. We want about 24. It's not precise, but to make my 7 inches, it's about 24. So here's 3, 4. Again, we go down, push back, up, and pull that through. Down, back, up, and pull that through. And we're going to keep on going. I think that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, oops, 19, 20, 21, 22. Have you noticed when I do this, I move my tall finger and my thumb up toward the base of that loop, and I continue to do that because you have more control that way. And here we go. Now, one thing for a complete beginner that you'll need to understand is how to identify the stitches that you have already made. We have the loop on the hook, and we don't even count that. But below that, we have a series of V's. Each V is one of those chain stitches we've just done, and they make a real pretty little row of V's along here. And this is the loop on the hook. This is our first stitch, second stitch, third stitch, fourth stitch. And that comes into play because, for example, we are going to do a single crochet into the second stitch from the hook. So here we go. This is the loop on our crochet hook. This is the first chain, and here is the second. So to make a single crochet into that, I go actually into that stitch, into the V, into the middle of the V, and I gather that yarn. Again, it's called yarn over, and I just pull through that first loop. And now look at this. I have 2 loops on my hook. And so I'm going to do one more yarn over, and I'm going to pull through both of those. And that's your very first single crochet. And we're going to go all through these chain stitches and go in to the very next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then I have the 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through both of those. Go into the next chain stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we can just move along. Oops. For demonstration purposes, I'm using a slightly larger hook than I normally would. And so if you see me fumble just a little bit, that is exactly why. But it turns out to be just as cute of a dragonfly, so that's not really a problem. Now, we'll go over it again. You take your hook and you go into the next chain stitch. You do yarn over and you pull up. Now you do yarn over and pull through 2. Into the next chain stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And proceed all the way across. Go into your chain stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Go into your chain stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're almost to the end. If you need to slow this video down to see more detail, please do. If you need to go back and play it again, please do. But you have just learned 2 stitches. You've learned chain stitch and you've learned the single crochet. And now we have our backbone, you might say, of one of the wings. And I'm going to tie this off, and to do that, we make what starts out as a chain stitch, pull through, but then I pull that loop up quite high, take my scissors, cut it off, and complete that, and then tighten it up. And I have a knot. Now, you don't want this dragonfly with all this loose, extraneous yarn, so we're going to weave in our ends. If you have to use a needle threader, go ahead and do it, but otherwise your big-eyed needle, this is where it comes in handy. And this is what we do to weave in the ends. What we're doing is hiding that yarn, so it isn't just a loose frayed end of a yarn. Plus, we make sure it doesn't come apart. And this is going to be handled quite a bit, and so it could pull out if you don't really anchor in that yarn. So it's all you do. It's not a precise. You go under stitches, and you go under stitches in one direction. You just take your needle, go under stitches in one direction, for maybe an inch, and then you go back and then you turn around and go back. And this is almost impossible for this yarn to pull out. And then you can feel confident that you can clip off that end. And be very careful not to clip off your other stitches. And do the same thing with this other loose thread, and you will wind up with your 7-inch wing here. And I have done this 7-inch wing, and I have done the 9-inch wing. And now we're going to assemble our dragonfly. To do that, we need to take some of our yarn, and I've already pre-loaded this needle. Again, it's the large-eyed needle, but it's of a size that'll go through, make sure it'll go through even your smallest bead. So I'm going to load those 3 small beads in order, in ascending order, onto my thread, my yarn. Then we take the long piece here, and to make the wings, we're just going to take each end and put it in the middle. We join in the middle. So you want a tiny bit of an overlap. If you can see that, just a tiny bit of an overlap, because you want to catch each section of that, each overlap of that, so it doesn't come apart. So now I take my needle, I go in on this side, I go in right here on this side, and I go into the middle. And now I have the large wings on. Let's do the same with the small wings. We're going to want to overlap them, just like that. So I take my needle, I go into this half, this side, and I go into this side, and then I go into the middle. And I thread that together. And now I have the head here. I thread that on, and I take my keychain and I go through, anchoring it to the top of my little dragonfly. And we're just going to go back the exact same way. So back through the large bead. Now before we get it too far going the other way, let's pull up a little bit. You see I've got a lot of tail here, and I'm going to need some of this to go back through and tie a knot. So let's make sure I've got plenty here. And now, very carefully, you want to go through these two folded up pieces of wing. And you want to catch again all those pieces. And you're going to go through the big guy. And go through then 3 descending size of, whoop. Sometimes you can't go through all of it together, just a piece at a time, and that's okay too. So I still have to go through that last little guy. And here is, make sure all your pieces are butted up against each other. Now cut off, but you could leave it a long piece, but you want to get this needle off there, and you're going to have 4 pieces of whatever yarn you're doing, and let's make a knot. In fact, we're going to make a double knot. Snug that right up there. Let's make a double knot right there. Oops. And however long you want the little tail to be, you can just cut it off right there. And this one's a little slightly different than this one, but still an adorable little dragonfly. And there you have it, your very own crochet dragonfly keychain. Isn't that fun? This little project is simple, beginner friendly, and such a cute way to add a handmade touch to your keys, your purse, or your backpack. If you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. Tell me what color dragonfly you're going to make. And if you're just starting out with crochet, you're in the right place. I love making easy tutorials that help beginners feel confident. I'll see you in the next video.